Hello, dear students. Today we are going to study some kind of practical examples. I will show you how we can use different abstract classes and interfaces in Java. And we will have a very simple example with interfaces. And you will see the example of polymorphism, the example of polymorphism, so that how you can use one and the same method, but for different types of for different kind of say values for different classes. And for this purpose, I have created just a simple project temperature converter. So you can do the same, just create a simple project temperature converter. It has to have main class, of course. So here at the moment it is empty, but we will start to implement this project from here. So I will add some other things. And first of all, I will tell you what is the task. The task is to create a converter which will create basic logic, how to enter, for example, degrees in centigrade, temperature degrees, I mean, yes. And it will convert this centigrade, if you want to use the method, into kelvins. It is used in physics, and into Fahrenheit, which is used, for example, in US, and so on. So we will create like this method, and here we will use some inheritance, polymorphism, etc. So let us go forward and do. First of all, let us create a so-called interface, because without interface we can also somehow make it, but with interface it is very nice. And here we can create interface. So here you create interface, and let us call it converter. So we will create an interface converter. Here in this interface we will define method. But when you create interface, you can define a method and you don't need to write return. It's like you can create abstract method. Yes. So remember, I gave you some ideas about how to create abstract method in the previous lesson. So here we can create a method, get converted value, for example, but we will make it double, because temperature can be absolutely any number. And we will write get converted value. So it will be our method. And of course, in order to implement this, we will need entering parameter. So it will be double base value. So we have created an interface, and here we will create a method which is double get converted value, double base value. And you see, we don't even have to write some kind of description of this method, because it basically is in the interface. So for now, that's all for the interface. And let us now go forward and create different classes. So here we have to receive different things. So remember, we will create from centigrade, from Celsius, to Celsius. We can make it to Kelvin and to Fahrenheit. So we will create a new class, and we will call it Kelvin converter, for example. Or maybe, yeah, let's go to Kelvin converter. So let us call the class Kelvin converter. So it will be our class Kelvin converter. And now we are going to implement the things here. But remember, we have created interface converter, and this one, the most important one. So we will use this method for interface, which we defined in interface. And this method will be implementing our polymorphism. So here we need to define this method again, but in order to define this, we need to connect our class to the interface. How to connect class to the interface? You just need to write here the word implement, and then you have to write here the name of the interface. So at the moment you have the following. So implement converter. So here implement method. Yeah, okay. And you can see that now that you can already make the same method get converted value, which is defined in the interface, but in the interface it's totally abstract, so you cannot write in the interface the description of the method. But in Kelvin converter, which is implementing this interface, we can define the method which concerns what happens, how we convert our temperature from centigrade into kelvins in case we have the Kelvin value. So now what we need to do, we need to make a formula here, because you know what we have with the return. So if we have a centigrade, so here if we want to have kelvins, then we have to use the base value plus 273.15. So this is actually the formula, because if you try to Google how to convert from centigrade to kelvins, you can do like this. So now it is okay. We have done that. And now what we can do, we can create main function here. And let us define double value for the temperature. So we have the valid temperature, and it is equal, for example, 23.5 degrees. So this temperature is given in centigrade, so given in Celsius. So now we are going to make a new, how to say, value. So let us print system out println, and then we can have temperature equals, and then we can just plus, and here we will make the following. We have new, we will have, for example, temperature in Kelvin. For example, temp Kelvin, and now we can create in temp Kelvin. So we have to create new object. So here we can create, as we have double temp Kelvin, and now we can write, so here temp Kelvin is equal, and here we can say new, and here we can write, you see, Kelvin converter, and now we can say get Kelvin converter, get converted value, and here we can put temperature. So at the moment we are having new object, which is double, but we are making it from the interface. So here we can create Kelvin converter, get converted value, and now look what will happen. You can see we have converted the value. So now, guys, you can see we have defined how we can convert from normal temperature to kelvins, but we can do now another things to Fahrenheit. So here we have converter, here we have Kelvin converter, but we can also have another class which we will call Fahrenheit converter. So let us create another class. Fahrenheit converter. As you understand, this class shall implement converter. So now, if you have like this, you have to implement the method, and you already have another method like this here. It's very simple, but you know now have to have the formula for Fahrenheit converter. If you want to convert from centigrade to Fahrenheit, you need to take 1.8 coefficient multiplied by the base value, so by the value of the centigrades, and add 32. So this is, we'll make it nicer. So this is the formula for going from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And at the moment, we have done everything. So we can go to main class. We can create here also double object temperature in Fahrenheit, and it will be new Fahrenheit converter class. Then we implement the value of this for the temperature, and that is basically all. And now we can print out system out println, and here we can write temperature in Fahrenheit is equal and plus temperature Fahrenheit, yeah. But here we can have Kelvin. And we can also print temperature like this. So here we can write system out println. And here temperature Celsius is equal just temperature. Okay, so if we launch it, you will see that everything works quite fast. And you can see that here we have Celsius, and here we have Fahrenheit, and here you can have Kelvin. So all the things very nicely written, and you can have the temperature like this. I think it's understandable, and you have now the task. So dear students, the task. You need to make this code much more interesting. And you see here now I have created only one thing, that you have Kelvin converter, which is converting from centigrade to Kelvins. Here you have Fahrenheit converter, it converts from centigrade to Fahrenheit. But I would like you to remake this code and make it much nicer, so that you can enter the temperature in any of these three things. For example, you can enter the temperature in kelvins, and then it's possible to use converters from kelvins to Fahrenheit or from kelvins to centigrade. Or you can also do, you can enter the temperature in Fahrenheit and create the temperature, then make the converters from Fahrenheit to centigrade and from Fahrenheit to kelvins, and so on. So that basically you have to show that you have the temperature in which of this in any of the three units, and then you can convert to the other two. So please just make that like that. This is the task, and then you can record the video showing that your task is done and explaining how you did it. So like me, I recorded this video, you record the same video and send it to me. Okay, bye bye.